All right, y'all, today we're going to take a look at using a button with Raspberry Pi Pico. I don't have much experience at all with this microcontroller, so let's take a look at it. So first of all, that button right there, I'm going to put another button right next to it, but it's aligned the same way as the one that's connected to the breadboard, but it's upside down clearly. So the point of this is this leg and this leg are connected all the time. They're electrically the same. They're actually probably the same piece of metal. And the same thing applies here on the other side. This one and this one are always connected. But across like this, they are not connected unless the button is pressed. So that's why we feed, if you see, we have an incoming signal on one side and then outgoing on the other side. And this gap right here is what's filled in whenever we press the button. So the button is connected to pin 15. And this LED, I'll try and get a little closer to it over here. That LED is connected, the long leg is connected directly to pin 16. And the short leg is connected to a 220 ohm resistor right here, which is going to ground. That's for current limiting. So, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the code, and we're gonna work our way up to trying to make this a little better. So let's see. Let me get the code view here. We're just gonna look at the code for now. So we're gonna from machine import pin, and we're also gonna import sleep from time, and we're gonna make blue pin 15, red pin 16. Those are just variables, the ones we just talked about. Then we're going to create our two objects. Blue button equals pin, blue pin, and then we are making the button an input. And we're also activating internal pull-up resistor. So we don't have to use an external one. And then red LED is going to be an output, like that. Okay, and so first let's test. I want to show y'all this because this kind of threw me off the first time I started playing with it. And let me turn, I guess it's not really going to do anything right now anyway other than me pressing it. But I did try this. So I did print, and we're going to print this to the terminal. We're going to print to the terminal blueButton.value, and the button, since it's going through a pull-up resistor, the natural state of this button is going to be a 1 or a logical true, or I guess 3.3 volts, whatever you want to say. So if we run this code, it should put out a string of 1s until I hit the button. Once I hit the button, then we're looking for it to, then we're going to be looking for it to go to 0. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and run the program. And you see the 1s streaming down, just like I said. But when I found whenever I hit the button, I had a weird anomaly. When I hit the button, I'm looking for a 0, and I'm not seeing anything. It's just staying on 1. But I did notice that if I hit stop, and I did go ahead and import sleep. And the reason I did that, whenever I was testing this, I saw if I put even a very short delay, and it probably has something to do with it running to the printing to the terminal, I'm guessing, I don't know. I found if I put just even a slight delay in there, and then now I run it and I hit the button, you'll see it goes to 0. So something else we can do though, instead of printing to terminal, and I'm curious if this will work without the sleep. We'll take sleep out for now. But what we're going to do instead of printing to terminal is we're going to do redLED.value. And then we're just going to enclose. I think we should be good just like this. So now it's just going to write the value of the button directly to the LED. I'm trying to think if that's going to be backwards or not. So it's normally going to be, so when we run this, it should be on all the time, except for when we press the button, then it should be off only when we press the button. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll stop, and we're going to run again. And now we're not printing the screen either. Yeah, so you can see our LED is on, but then when we press the button, LED goes off. And also something else I noticed from doing this, y'all got to remember I'm a noob with these things, is that now the sleep command is not necessary. It's working just fine. So that was just with the that was just because of printing to the terminal. So now we know we're reading the button, and we're able to do something like just turn it off or on, but that's like constant. The assignment, one of the assignments I had recently was to every time you press the button, it toggles on or off, which would in a lot of cases be more useful. Okay, so I have another version of the code that I did, and everything up top here is the same. Except we did add this LED state equals false to it now. And yeah, everything else should be pretty much the same. Another thing we added here is redLED.value is false. And this is an example of using just true and false instead of like actual values. Because you can display that on the LED or read that from the button too. So while true, and so we're starting off with LED state equals false, and we're writing redLED.value is false. Okay, so the LED state is the current state of the LED, and then we're making sure to turn the LED off at first. So going through this loop, we have an if statement. If blueButton.value equals 0, which means if we press the button, right, then we are going to, whatever the state, LED state is, we're going to make it not that. So if LED state was true, pressing the button will make it false. And if LED state was false, pressing the button will make it true. And then after we do that, then we'll make redLED.value equal LED state. Okay, so it should toggle it. Now there still will be a slight problem here, but let's go ahead and run this code and see what happens. Okay, so we're starting with off, just like we wanted to, and then when we press the button, it turns on, and we press the button, it turns off, on. You saw that one? Okay, this is the problem. It did it again. You end up with, whenever you're pressing the button there, it's stuck that time. Whenever you're pressing the button, when it's coming back up, it might make intermittent contact. The software may think it's actually you pressed it again, and then it changes state back again. So if it can be very, if you're careful, and even if you're careful, sometimes it doesn't work well. Y'all can see that, right? See, look, it turned off, on and off again. That's called bouncing. So for me as a novice, the only way I know how to fix it for now, and I think I might learn something better later, is to simply put in a sleep, and we're just going to do, we'll do a 0.1 value there. Let's see how that works. So I think that should be 1/10 of a second. I think that's right. Okay, let's try this again. On, off, on, off. Oh, let me make it a little longer. We'll try 0.3. It's still kind of bouncy. And we'll upload again one more time. And let's see if this is good enough. On, off. Now the flaw with this method that I'm doing is that for 0.3 seconds, you cannot hit the button. So if you're trying, like on a video game controller or something, this would not work because somebody wants to make like fast changes. This one is limited to, like, as soon as it hits this part of the code, then the code is held up as far as I know, unless there's something going on that I don't know of. So I think this code is pretty inefficient, but it does work. We might look at better ways to debounce our button later, but we have working code here, which I'm happy with. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks a bunch for watching, y'all. Bye-bye.